Hi, and welcome to the best thing you watched this week. Chris from Movies and Munchies. Say hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
And Ruben from the Ruby Tuesday. He's like just staring at you strangely. If this is your first time, please don't click off just yet. We have amazing things to talk about. It's been an interesting week of content, which is what we cover, supposedly the best stuff. If you don't agree with us, that's fine. That's what we hear about. Let's talk about it in the community below. I think we're starting to gather a really good community of people coming back, giving us, letting us know what they think is the best thing. And sometimes we don't even, like, we've never heard of it, and we'll just add that to our never-ending list, which is great. In our audio podcast, what film are we talking about this week, Chris?
I don't know. Did we choose a film? I have a film to talk about that I watched this week, but I don't.
Great. I think we probably both won, but we didn't converse. So maybe you'll get double for your for an extra special helping. But also in the audio version with the exclusive content, we've got news, which again every week the world just continues spewing out interesting news in the world of entertainment. It's gonna be interesting one to talk about there. In our Patreon. If you are on one of the tiers of our Patrons where you get to ask us to do a review, this week's review is Slapshot, and maybe an extra little bonus. If you want to go and see that, you'll have to be on that tier. But also we have general, every week we put a new Patreon video, and it's topical. So it's normally something that's going on in the zeitgeist of entertainment, or it's something that we specifically want to talk about, a movie that we haven't gotten to discuss, like to really get to the nitty gritties or the guts of it, like the horror guts. Well, and we should get into it. But first, while Chris laughs his head off, we are doing our carry on our movie quote quiz, and last week's were so easy that everybody got them right. Right, Chris?
Right. Everybody got it. It was amazing. Congratulations to Rob Vespa, who got 2 out of the 3. And the general. Oh, yes.
There was also on mine.
Yes.
We got Pushpa. Who did you say? Rob Vespa. So Pushpa Veli got 2 as well.
Nice. Okay. So tie there. Well, I should probably give the answers, right, for last week?
Yes.
So it was Moonrise Kingdom.
Okay.
Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Right.
And Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
So the Moonrise Kingdom stumped me for definite. Godzilla, in the recesses of my mind, I knew it, but I definitely didn't get it. And Indy, even that was tricky. So...
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, so the consensus being that Chris is doing these too hard. He's making them too difficult. So, in an effort to not make this my last week of doing this,
you're fired.
I exactly.
Back to the future.
I've chosen 3. Okay, I've chosen 3 that I think are going to be ridiculously easy.
All right. Let's see. Let's see, Chris.
These are not only mainstream movies, but very popular movies as well.
Okay.
So the first one, I got to do a voice. I hope I can do the voice. If not, well, whatever. It's a weird case from the start. A case with a hole in the center. A donut.
Nah.
Okay. Number 2.
Okay.
This one's a long one, so bear with me. I should probably lie down for a moment, rest my eyes. Please know, when I drift off and be like everything lately, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I dream about you, because it's always you.
I think I know this one. Yeah.
Okay.
It might be one of my favorite films, I think.
You know it, you just may not know it. Yeah. Anyway.
Right.
Okay. So the last one.
Yeah.
So the combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It rings so many bells. I have a couple of ideas. Okay. Brilliant. They feel like they should be easier, but for everybody now crying, going, don't I know movies? You've hurt our souls, Chris.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Chris sucks. Chris is no. Well, this could be my last week. So I didn't go out with a bang in the hard ones. I could really do that, which would be fun. But no, that's okay.
No, I just like to see people cry in the comments. So it's fine.
Well, I understand it's so much easier on this end asking or doing the quotes versus trying to remember them.
100%.
Yes.
On that note, should I ask a question? Would you like to hear a question?
I would love for you to ask a question. Yes.
It's movie related. And this is more like one of those things like if you could do something, but it's entertainment. So last week's I was like, and I loved someone's comment on, I choose the sorting hat because that conjures up so many ideas of what the sorting hat could do. And mine was that the sorting hat gives you a haircut so much that you go bald. Which is hilarious. Gryffindor, and then you come away, you're all bald. It's great. So this week, if you could choose any TV series that is currently airing or has aired, and you get a movie from that, you're only allowed to choose one, what would you choose? And vice versa, any movie that you would like to see turned into a TV series. Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
Tricky one.
That is yeah. Because like the first thing that comes to mind is a canceled series.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Like I'm really bummed Archive 81 at the that came out at the beginning of the year on Netflix got canceled, and so that it had more to tell. So I would have loved to see that. The Amazon series Night Sky with J.K. Simmons and Cece Spacek.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
I was intrigued by that, so I would love a movie to wrap that up.
A movie to wrap that up would be great.
Yeah. So any of those types of things, I think really probably the first one would be though Archive 81, just because I want the full resolution to that. But I'm sure there are a couple of others that have been niggling in my mind of like, dude. You can't just the OA. Nope, there we go. The OA. That's what it is.
I was waiting for it. Okay, just give us a movie and finish up the questions. Like if that's what
I need it to be a 6-hour movie though.
A James Cameron length, an Indian, a Bollywood style.
Yes,
that'd be amazing because it incorporates dancing. So
absolutely,
you could totally do it. Yeah, so a 4.5 hour extravaganza. That'd be amazing.
I'm there.
I think I would do a movie or a series for Firefly. You could go either way because we'd never. There's no conclusion really. It just kind of left us of what happened to these characters. So that was all fans anyway. So we got the series, and because of fans, we got the movie. But we've never been satisfied. So if you're a brown coat, sound off in the comments below. Let us know. My goodness. I would be the same 100% of things that I've never had answers to. Just this week, we got the cancelled The Bastard Son and The Devil Himself. I don't think I would want a movie because I know there's another 2 books, and I don't think a movie would do it justice. So it would have to be another series. Maybe a movie to something that we've always said, that would be so good as a movie. Or you're watching a movie, you feel like, let's take Tom Holland's science fiction film that he did a while back that's based on the movie's Never Letting Go, a Knife. But he did one with the actress who was Rey. Rey in Star Wars.
Daisy Ridley?
Yeah, so them two together, they did a movie and it was awful compared to the book. But there's a trilogy of books that everybody said this would be such a great series.
Oh, is that the one where they could hear the thoughts?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That I think would be. I think that's my answer because my wife goes on and on. So I'm gonna read them to you. I'm gonna read them. It's like no, you're not. I'm gonna read them to you. Whenever we see like even passing across the screen on a Netflix and that film comes, she's just like, it
just
visibly upsets her. Yeah. Anywho,
nice.
Let us know in the comments your choices. Give us one each. Should we jump in?
Yes, let's do it.
Cool. What's been the best thing you watched this week, Chris? Have you ranked them? Do you give us your best outright, or do you save it like to the last?
No, I just kind of do it in the order that I put them on there.
Let's just stick one on. Okay. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't really talk about this series much because it's more of just a casual watch for me. But I used to love, well, I still love it, but the Top Gear, the UK version with Jeremy, Richard, and James.
The original.
I don't watch any of the other versions. Yeah, the original. I mean, just hilarious, especially their specials.
Yeah.
But when they moved over to Amazon for the Grand Tour, I've been loving it. I mean, I love that. I loved Clarkson's Farm. I thought that was a hilarious show. I'm behind on some of it, but that's okay. You know, it's one of those casual watches. Well, this week, I just needed something different, especially at the beginning of the week. I hadn't really started some of the things that I was going to review yet, and I just needed something that I didn't care about, but I cared about. Does that make sense? You know, that it just happy watch. And so I watched the Grand Tour, a Scandi flick. And this is where they go to, I think they start out in Norway and they have to go through Finland to get, across. And they have a time limit to do this in. And this is a car show for people that don't necessarily have to like cars.
100%.
And that's what I really...
You don't need a driver's license. You could never have driven a car. You will love this.
Yeah, it's them. It's their personalities. It's the craziness they get into. I mean, there's a quote from James May, one of the presenters, not in this, but just that he had said at one point, we're not three wise men. We're a wise man, a cheat, and an idiot. And so that's really what you get. So it's just these adventures. And this one, though, there were a couple of times where literally we gasped out loud because some of the things that happened in this episode you were not expecting at all.
Dude.
And I don't say that. Did you see it?
Oh no, this is probably one of my favorites. I watched it with the whole family. We laughed out loud a lot, but also there's a moment we were really worried.
In the tunnel there?
Yes, in the tunnel.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, it was horrifying, really, because you're like,
just catching your.
Yeah.
And it was real. That wasn't fake. Goodness. Yeah.
No, it wasn't staged. It wasn't. No, that was not supposed to happen. Nope. And so, but just their interactions, it made me laugh so much. I mean, my wife and I we were just sitting in bed, just needed that, that lighthearted type of thing. And it really was. It was just a great hour and a half or something like that of viewing. You get to see, beautiful countryside as they go through the mountains. They are playing pranks on each other, which I thought were really funny.
The pranks were great. They worked well. They made me laugh a lot.
And some of them are dangerous too. Like, oh my gosh, what are you doing to each other? But just great. It still works. Yeah. So, I mean, if you've never tried out the Grand Tour, it's one of those that you can hop in at any point because it doesn't really matter. You get to, I mean, you don't even have to know the presenters because they're just characters.
Their specials are grand adventures. It's what it is. They're going to places in the world you probably haven't been to, especially even if you live in that place. They're going to like the outskirts, and they're putting cars into terrible situations and seeing if those cars can survive. And then for some reason, every car they get is the best car ever. And then bickering about that. And then the pranks included in that. And then always having the crew's special car floating in the background if your car fails, as the looming presence of, this is what happens. This is what you'll drive if you fail. And then also you get to see the crew sometimes in the background. And you're just like, oh my gosh, the crew have to get through this nonsense as well with these guys. It's brilliant. Really fun.
It's so good. A side note, fun fact, when the Grand Tour began, after it had been, one had been fired from Top Gear and then two left. When they came to Amazon and they did the Grand Tour, the first episode, or at least the first place they were going to be filming, we got tickets to attend. To be in the audience. Nice. It was like I don't know, 4 hours away though, and when it came time to be there, we weren't able to go, and so it was such a bummer. But it's the one that it takes place in Visalia. I think it's either episode 1 where they first introduced them, and they're out in the middle of the field and everything, or the desert looking type thing. So we would have been there maybe on camera, but it was a bummer. So anyway, next time. Yes. What's on your list?
So, I mean, my wife and I, we started the week, let's say we started on Friday, gearing up for the content like that we're going to review, and you're going to work yourself up to, because sometimes it's going to be a busy one, it's going to be a lot. You're just like, okay, I need something that's going to be good. So we stuck on this series that we hadn't seen, but we like the actress. That's on Disney Plus at the moment, probably via what do we call it? Hotstar in the UK. Okay. But it's Juliana Margoyles. She plays Dr. Nancy Jacks. You got Noah Emmerich, who's Lieutenant Colonel Jerry Jacks, her husband and wife. But basically, it's the frightening spread of the Ebola virus is season 1, and it's them in the 80s trying to come up with a way to deal with the Ebola virus being in America. And so it comes from Africa, and you get these flashbacks of how they've had to deal with it before. There's another actor I know that you love. I'm just trying to pull up his name now. There he is, Liam Cunningham.
Did you say the series title?
Oh, did I not? The Hot Zone?
The Hot Zone. Oh, okay. That's based on a book.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that. But yeah, so there's 2 seasons, and each one is a separate story with different actors. So season 2 is Anthrax, and we didn't get to that because it's just new actors in a different time, and they're dealing with Anthrax. Season 1 is dealing with the Ebola, and I have to say, it was tense. 6 episodes, quick watch right through to the end. We were riveted. We were like, put on the next episode. There's some really harsh stuff and really, really tense moments. And because it's Ebola, but like in city rather than in Africa, it feels more personal. But also it deals with family and how our main protagonists, they are both kind of in the same job. So they've always got to balance who does the part of the main job, because if something happens to one of the parents, one of them have got to be alive to look after the kids. So there's this contention in the relationship as to who's doing what. And I think it's the first time I've seen how people would deal with deadly viruses. You see, like when she goes into the place where the deadly viruses are, the different levels of safety and precaution that they actually have to do, they show you how they do that. And it makes it so much more scary when they go out into the world, and that virus, where they've had so much protection before in a lab on many, many, many different levels, they're now out in the world where these monkeys have contracted Ebola, and they have to kill all these monkeys to stop it. They've got to put them down. If one of the monkeys get out or, whatever, and they give you contracted, then you got to be on the quarantine. So you have all of that. But it was really relevant. I think it's more real because we've just come out of COVID, and there was a lot of similarities. It was thoroughly entertaining in the safety of my house, not needing to go outside, yeah. But it did make you want to go and wash your hands and have a shower and scrub. It was really well put together. Highly recommend. If you like your medical sort of disease, there's been a few series like that have done really well with that sort of drama. I think they do the balance well between the science and the story, the politics that's always a part of it. So you can't. So we have the one person that has absolute proof that there is an Ebola outbreak, but they have the other person says if you say that, you could cause more damage by saying that. So you have to balance. Okay, so what do you do? It made for some very entertaining series. So I think this season 1 came out in 2019. It's one that passed us by that we never stuck on. And then second season, maybe 21 or even 2020. Okay. And that's Anthrax. So that's on Disney for us in the UK. I'm not sure where it is.
And it's a, looking at the poster, it's like a National Geographic is like the backers for that. So it could be on Disney Plus in the US also. some of the other actors, though, good grief. I mean, there's Tony Goldwyn, like Noah Emmerich, like you said, Daniel Day Kim, Topher Grace, Dylan Baker. Yeah.
Topher Grace is great in this, and Paul James as well. They are like kind of the two lab rats that kind of get stuck trying to deal with the stuff as it comes in, and they kind of spend the whole series in the lab, kind of stuck in the lab because of what they're dealing with. And you see them kind of lose their mind as they spending so much time in it. Topher was great. Yeah.
Nice. That's good. Well, I mean, what's the movie? Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a
tense
one.
Think Outbreak, but in a series.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Next up for me is a movie I watched actually yesterday, and it's on Netflix in the US. I don't think it's specifically a Netflix movie, but they bought the rights for it, and it's called God's Crooked Lines.
Okay.
And it is a Spanish mystery that, good gravy, my brain fell out of my head.
Was it really complicated?
It's convoluted.
Right.
And
why is it on the best thing you watch then?
Oh my gosh, no, because of that. So the premise is a murder happens. Now, this is how we're told it. Okay, so I'm not going to go into spoilers. I did a spoiler review because I thought it might actually warrant it. But how we're told, a murder happens at a mental institution. And so then a private investigator is hired to go in, pose as a patient who has just severe paranoia, and solve who did the murder. What the doctors are told when she first arrives is that she is a compulsive but expert liar. So even when confronted with her lies, she will then spin it so that now she's telling the truth and have rationalizations for why she was lying before. Okay. So you have that, and then within this now, we see the timeline playing out, but then we see things loop back on themselves to see it from either different perspectives or different times within there. And the doctors are now saying, because none of the doctors know why she's there, presumably, right? Because she's there to solve a murder. So they just believe she's a patient. And so do you believe her? And then if one doctor does believe her, and then another doctor comes in and says, no, remember, her committing doctor said she's a liar.
Right.
And so it just creates all this doubt, and they will reveal things, and then you're like, oh, okay, yes. Oh, wait a minute. No, wait, I thought, no, oh, crap. Even if you're certain on something, there's no, I found myself like about an hour in, and it's a long movie. It's like 2.5 hours long. So about an hour in, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what it is. And I was right on part of it, but I wasn't right on all of it. And then I was never sure that I was right because every time it would just reintroduce doubt. And I was like, oh, well, oof. So I loved that it kept me guessing. And even at the very end, it kind of gives it in an ambiguous way. Not totally, but a little bit. We do see, though, the last half of the movie, we see all of the events play out in the way that they happened.
Oh, right.
Versus versus how we've been shown, scattered throughout the movie. This is by the director who did Contratiempo. It's a Spanish mystery. It's let's see here. Let me pull up the The Invisible Guest is what it's called in English. Phenomenal movie. I just watched it for the first time like a year ago or something like that. It was from 2016.
Okay.
And it's another mystery that,
so he's obviously good at those. Yeah.
Really good. Yeah. This he's also done what did he do? The Innocent. He was the writer, the head writer, and then I think the director of at least some of the episodes of that series also that was on Netflix. That was the Harlan Coben adaptation. So again, that one was a little long. That series was a little long, but still really good. And so God's Crooked Lines, I mean, it is, if you like mystery, and if you like something that makes you think and kind of warps your brain a little bit as you go, and you want to doubt yourself, and even if you feel certain on something, to have then like this niggling bit of in the background of like, well, what about this?
So is it smart then? It knew, it's because there's some films that pretends to be smart, and then you get to the end and you're like, but were you? But this one seems to like have a proper ending. Yeah,
well, it does, but it makes you go, I'm going to have a think on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is on Netflix UK as well, so
okay.
It sounds like it's in most places. I never know with some of the Spanish titles, like I've seen, because Netflix puts on so much, and the things that they slap their name on, you never know if they're actually any good. So many I've watched where I just started and go, nah, I can't even bring myself to review it. But this sounds like it's good.
Yeah, and I almost didn't start it. Like I moused or hovered over it, just selected it, and it said 2 hours and 35 minutes, and I went.
I think that's what I did. I think that's why I didn't watch it.
I was like, do I want to do this to myself?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
But it had been on. It was like one of the ones that I was looking forward to seeing. So I was like, okay, let me try it. And I hadn't even. I mean, had I looked up the cast and saw the director and that he had done The Invisible Guest, that would have been an instant hit play for me. It wouldn't have even been a hesitation. But because I didn't know that and because I didn't do that, I was kind of. But I'm glad I watched. So,
okay, cool. Should I move on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I need to kind of do a retraction. So last week I kind of pooed all over Willow after our experience of rewatching the Willow movie.
The series Willow.
The series Willow, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'll get to why I'm talking about that, because I was on Disney and we'd watched the 2 episodes of Willow that had aired. Oh gosh. And the first 20 minutes of the series is just dire. Some of the worst teenage angst crap I've ever seen in my life. But strangely enough, after the 20 minutes, they showcase some of the creatures that you're going to see in the series. And I was just blown away. I was like, dang, these creatures are cool. Like really interesting. Not what like you get in the film at all. I was like, wow, okay. And then they start bringing in what the film had, all those funny Vice bits, how people said certain things. And so we went through the 2 episodes, coming away going, okay, that was much better than the first 20 minutes. Still having some of that teenage angst, but I have hope for the future of the series. So then I continued to kind of skim over what was new on Disney. And I hadn't planned on watching this series, but I came across a South Korean series that I was like, Disney are doing South Korean? And I was like, this is supposedly in collaboration with Disney and Mike Takeshi, who is like, if you know anything about Mike Takeshi, the dude and horror is held up in high regard. If you think Itchy the Killer and 13 Assassins, like, yes, you've got my yes. Okay, and then you had me at Disney being an 18. Now, for some reason, it's not in America, so it's Disney in the UK, but it's Hulu in the US, right?
Yes.
I'm obviously talking about this new series based on a webtoon called Connect. And my word, I love it so much. I want more. I want more now. It's really hard to explain what it is. Have you managed to see any of this, Chris?
No, I didn't get a chance to. But I did add it to my list. Like once you told me that, oh, dude, no, check Hulu, because I was looking all over the place for it. And I'm like, I can't find it in the U.S. What the crap? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do my best to explain.
Okay.
A dude that has never been able to die for some reason, well, for a long time in his life. Whenever he gets knocked over by a car or gets hurt, his body seems to come back together. I'm not going to say how, it just does. So he finds himself on right at the beginning of the series on an autopsy table, but not like a medical a dodgy autopsy table where people are harvesting body parts. to sell on the black market.
Well,
and
that's
then
not good.
yeah, no, that's not where you want to wake up. And it not only is it like dodgy black market, but the group are like dodgy mafia sort of people. So he's like doubled down in the dodginess. And so one day he was walking in an alley, someone knocked him out, and they, like, let's harvest his parts. And okay, so it starts with them like basically opening him up, but like I said, he kind of heals back up. So the body wakes up, and he jumps out the window because he's like, I'm out of there. I don't want anything to do with these people. Right? Fair enough. The thing is, he's missing an eye.
Oh.
He hasn't gotten all his body parts back.
Oh no.
The eye goes to a serial killer. And now he sees what the serial killer sees when there's a certain tune playing, and basically when he kills people. And that is just the starting of the arc, and it gets so much more complicated and interesting from there. And dude, it's gory, it's fantasy, it's like South Korean, it's webtoon comedy, it's dry but also funny and dark, and man, it's one of those that's like, I'll just stick on the first episode, and then like later that evening, because I started during the day, I was like, yeah, I'm almost finished. I swear I'll help with dinner now. I swear. I'm just like, me and Mike Takeshi were there.
Nice. Well, how many episodes?
6.
6. And how long are each of those episodes?
They're under an hour, each of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not enough because I want more.
Do you get the feeling like there could be more?
Yeah, they definitely didn't wrap it up. It opens up like a big arc. So there is the story of the serial killer that is concluded mostly.
Okay.
And then there's as to why he is the way he is story that's going on.
Gotcha. Okay. Nice. Yeah, when I saw the trailer, at least part of the trailer, like I didn't listen to it. I just watched some of it, and I saw some graphics and some stuff like his leg, and I went, "Ooh,
that's weird."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. I really enjoyed it. One of the, nice. It's such a nice golden find.
Don't you love those when you find these things that you're like, oh, that was a surprise. I didn't even know what to expect, and I just stumbled upon this. Those are the best types of things.
Absolutely.
Right on. All right. The last one on my list is going to be funny because it's not a movie I ever want to watch again. It's not a movie I was looking forward to seeing too much.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. Yeah, nice. Okay.
Yeah. But I'm able to separate my feelings for that for the quality and the excellence of the movie. Okay. Like, just because I'm not a fan of it does not mean that it is not a great movie. And I really believe it is a great movie. And it's Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Is this on your list?
It's not, but I understand why, because I just have too many on my list. So
Gotcha. The animation, so it's stop motion, that almost doesn't feel like stop motion for a lot of it. And very fluid. It was way not, it's just as dark as like the Disney one is. I think though this is more emotional. I think this is more mature.
It's way more grounded than the original.
It is such a better story though, because we have so much more context for what is going on.
Yeah.
There is, I mean, the amount of grief and loss that is experienced within this film is tough.
It's heavy.
I mean, it is. And I think, my wife and I were talking, there should be almost a trigger warning for this, because if you have lost a child, there is a sequence that is not a short sequence that really dives into that, and it's moving. I mean,
I think that's when I was sold on it. That sequence.
It's terrible to watch, but not terrible as in bad.
No.
Terrible as in like just so weighty and just like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure how much, like, I didn't even look at like what the age rating was. I mean, because really, I can't see a lot of little kids enjoying this other than maybe when he sings his, I mean, they like the animation. Yes. That's easy. But when Pinocchio sings his song to Mussolini and he changes the words from what he's supposed to sing, I think that's when any little kid's ears would perk up, because it's all about poop and farts. And it's a
PG
funny.
in the UK.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine kids, like little kids, being able to sit through this and enjoying it and getting, I mean, because it's so dark in a lot of it, you know, I mean, it has that overwhelming sense of sadness to the entire thing. And I know that the Pinocchio story, like even Disney's, the animated version
that's
has
still
that
there.
also.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what did you tell me your thoughts?
Yeah, so I had to watch this movie in 2 sittings. I watched the first half an hour and thought, nope, not watching this. I've seen this before. You're doing all the same things. Stop motion looks amazing, but literally I've just seen the Disney version and that just depressed me because it was dull as anything. I've seen this. It's depressing and dull. Not 2 things I don't need in my life. So I came back because Guillermo del Toro is one of my favorite directors of all time. Pan's Labyrinth is probably my top 50 movies of all time. Like, it just will sit there forever being solidified as in, this is awesome. So I come back and literally after that half an hour mark, the story gets really interesting because they do things with the Geppetto storyline that I've never seen in any version. We get so much more background for his character as to why he even crafted Pinocchio. And the reason what, like, he doesn't start off loving Pinocchio, he's more detesting Pinocchio. And I was like, that's such a great way to go. That's a very real response. This guy is grieving for his son. And the build-up of that relationship. So when he is trying to find Pinocchio, we're getting that classic Pinocchio story again. You feel it. And I was like, that's the emotional attachment that the others needed. I needed a reason as to the why. And then you have the things that they've done before, but has more relevance. So like Hugh McGregor as the heart, literally sitting in the heart of Pinocchio. There were moments that was like, not only, it's not just the conscience, it's so much more than that. Yeah, so he sits there and is his guide, never letting go. But your heart doesn't always lead you the right way. You know, there's so many deep layers of thinking that I was like, this is character building. This is great. So apart from the incredible stop motion, like you said, how is that stop motion? Like, some of it's like, is it really? Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure I buy that.
yeah, like, holy crap, man.
They just drop some frames of an animated movie to make it feel a little bit.
Yeah, and the lighting, like, all adding to the mood. But then you get the creature designs as well. So you get the person that's meant to be the fairy, right? But how does that not remind you of, like, the eyes?
Angel?
Yeah.
Oh,
the
that
angels.
too, yes.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's very cool. So you get that stuff that is quintessential Guillermo del Toro. But I think the growth, the places where they take the story that's not normal. So he's in a training army camp and he befriends a kid whose dad is just the worst. And this kid is trying to just get his dad to love him. And that whole storyline I thought was incredible. Short, but so brilliant for Pinocchio to learn something about the world, the way the world is. Not necessarily good stuff, but understanding. But also Pinocchio's personality, which hasn't been disturbed by the world yet, brings this kid out of the dumps and helps him realize that I don't need to be like that. And it's their friendship that kind of shines through in the end, which in the moment there's like a really incredible emotional moment with them too, where they decide not to do something. And I just thought it was great. It was excellent. Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Good choice.
Cool.
Okay, back to me. Yeah. Woo. Okay. Let me talk about White Noise. Have you seen White Noise yet?
I have not. It is in theaters, kind of, here in the U.S. I know it's coming to Netflix at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And so I'll probably
30th.
wait to see it until it arrives there.
Yeah, so it's on
this is on the best thing, huh?
Yeah, this is on the best thing. Yeah. So it's on select cinemas as well here, but it's also coming out. I asked them, it's like, when should I release? Like, go ahead and do it now because it's out. So I was like, all right, I'll do a review now. Normally, if you give me Adam Driver, I'm like, cool, I'm in. I think the dude's an amazing actor. I love everything he does, even if I don't particularly like the film. Like Marriage Story, wasn't a huge fan of the film, but that one monologue scene, dude, just thinking about it now, it's like probably some of the best acting you're likely to see ever. Yeah, and that is the same director from this. So, based on a highly acclaimed book, this white noise dramatizes a contemporary American family's attempt to deal with the mundane conflicts of everyday life, with grappling with the universal mysteries of life, death, possibilities of happiness in an uncertain world. Also stars Greta Gerwig, Don Cheadle, and a number of others that you'll recognize going, oh, I know that person. This film is weird, Chris. It's a weird ass film. Because the dialogue comes across as a stage play. And then you have, so imagine that, but in the setting of a living room where your family and your kids are all around. Just people talking as if they're in the stage play. At the same time, imagine you take that setting, you put all of those people in a pub, and you have the ambient chaotic noise of a pub, and everybody talking over each other at the same time. That's what this movie does a lot. So there's a lot of conversations that's over, and you in your brain have to try and grapple with, okay, I'm trying to concentrate on that bit of dialogue, but I'm also trying to concentrate on that bit of dialogue. Now, there are some people who love pubs and they can deal with that. But if you're a person that struggles to concentrate and you get a bit overwhelmed, which I definitely do, then you're the person sitting at the back going, yeah, cool, having no idea what anybody's saying because you have a bit of tinnitus. Someone is talking, someone's laughing in the corner, and the glass is broken, and your brain is like, this is way too much going on. Film does it a lot. Occasionally, it does allow you to focus on a bit of dialogue, and that's when the film shines. And then it goes post-apocalyptic, and you're like, holy crap, what the crap? There's a thing that happens to the town that suddenly it's like you're watching an E.T. movie or Steven Spielberg movie, but you're also watching a Wes Anderson movie, I said, at the same time. You squish those two together, put it in the 80s, and you're like, what is this movie?
That sounds weird.
It's weird. I kind of love it for that. It's doing something different. I'm guessing the book is like that. It has a lot to say about things, life, love, happiness. What does it all mean in the world? Death is a very big theme of this movie. So Adam Driver's character, he is the person that's trying to contemplate about the fact that death is always imminent, and how do you deal with that? And then his wife is also kind of dealing with that. And then the kids are aware of their parents being a bit weird, but they're all asking different things. Like, they're kind of focused on death. There's a prominent bit, a plane crashes in a field, and one runs into the room and says, a plane crashes in the field, there's news footage. And they all go and crowd round the TV, and they're watching it, like their eyes are glued to the TV. And the dad comes in and tries to change the channel, and they're like, no, don't you dare. And it's like they're fixated on this person that's just died in the field. And it has it's like very cleverly kind of shoving it in your face, going, hey, death, you've got to deal with death, because at any point, anybody can die. Just ignoring it doesn't mean it's going to go away. You're like, well, screw you. I don't want to deal with death. It might be brilliant, but I could also see why people would say it's pretentious and stupid. So it's one of those.
So does it feel artsy? I mean, it sounds kind of artsy.
It's definitely artsy in places.
Okay.
But it's filmed in such a way that it feels like you're watching a Steven Spielberg science fiction movie that came out in the 80s. So it's tricky artsy.
Okay. Art. like I remember seeing a bit of a trailer, maybe even saw a trailer when I saw Knives Out in the theater, but does it have a fantastical element to it, or is it actually grounded?
It has a fantastical element to it that's grounded.
That was unhelpful. Thank you. Okay. No, that makes sense.
That's the best way I can describe it. It comes down to the relationships and what life means, but in amongst that, you're still trying to figure out what the mystery is. Really, it's like, what's the mystery of life?
Okay.
The Hitchhiker's
42.
Guide will, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's that. It's good. I gave in my review 2 ratings. I gave it 4. And I gave it 2.5. So, or no, I gave it 2.
Oh, okay. Well, is it one like that you're itching to rewatch?
I want to rewatch it because I feel like I missed a hell of a lot of dialogue.
Okay. Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Hearing that, like I would prefer to watch it at home, so that we can have the subtitles on.
Oh, 100%. Do that.
Because I want to be able, like, even if I need to choose which thing I'm listening to or reading, you know what I mean, of whose lines I'm paying more attention to, that's okay. But to be able to differentiate even just over the cacophony of stuff that's happening, I would like to.
It may not even be that they're speaking over each other. It's just that the lines come so frequently. So someone will come in, I'm having this for breakfast. Someone else was saying, did you see what happened on the radio station today? Someone else will say, I'm wearing this blazer because of whatever. And so it's a bunch of different conversations happening at the same time. And your brain is still trying to decipher that first line. What does that mean? You don't have time to pick it apart.
So it is almost like you are in the pub, but you're literally like in the center listening to everybody around you.
Exactly
talk.
like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That makes a little more sense. I still want the subtitles on just to be able to.
Yeah. I'm glad. I mean, honestly, I'm glad I didn't watch this at the cinema, which is weird. Not because it wouldn't be a good experience, but also it might not be a good experience.
Sure. Yeah. No. I get that. And I'm curious at how well this is going to be received, because it is more of a fringe type of movie. I don't see this as like the mainstream big push, but that doesn't mean that it can't be well received or be very popular. It's
exactly.
Just, yeah. So, okay. Nice.
Now I'm moving on to an anime.
Okay.
Also South Korean.
Yes.
So I should clarify. There is a word for anime that is South Korean, but it's not anime, because people get surety when you say anime, because anime is particularly Japanese. But what does anime actually mean? It's moving animation, and when you come down to it, it's just moving images that are animated. So this is an animated series on Netflix based on a webtoon called Lookism. I mentioned it briefly last week, and I'm so glad that I'm happy to say it's awesome. I'm trying to remember. It was a short series. I think it was 8 episodes, 25 minutes apiece. It's about a guy that gets bullied at a high school. He pleads with his mom to send him to another high school so he can get away from the bullies, thinking that there won't be bullies there. Of course, there are bullies there. And so the first night in his new apartment, he is living by himself in a 1-bedroom place because his mom couldn't come with him because she's having to do 2 jobs now to support him at another school, which he doesn't know about it. This shows up the classic teenage thinking their life is the worst because they just don't realize that they have the teenage brain, right? Not realizing what the hell the parents are going through. In the meantime, the parents are going through probably something way worse. Anyway, he cries himself to sleep that night and wakes up next to a beautiful young man who is like him, but the best version of him. The fittest, the thinnest. He's not fat, super strong. It's the type of dude that, like in an animation series, when the dude walks into the college, all the girls will suddenly go like, who is that? And as hyper realistic comedic moments, for example, a young girl looks at him and her glass frames crack when they see him, right? It's that sort of comedy. The emotional story here, though, works superbly. It's ranging from our character learning about what a bully is. We get to see the other sides of why a bully is a bully, and we see them grow on their characters. And then we get to see him become friends with another kid that is fat like him, but in his other body. And they do a sort of M&M music competition, which is gorgeous. It was wonderful to watch. At the same time, it showcases him learning about his parents, well, his mom, and everybody else's issues at school. So it's a coming of age comedy lifestyle thing with that fantasy element of him being vice versa, but different, right? Because he's both. So he's got to look after both bodies. The body that sleeps 12 hours can't sleep all the time, so you got to give it something to do. So the other body, he ends up making it go to work because it needs money for the apartment. So he's basically got two lives to deal with. The thing is, he realizes everybody likes him, but it's not the real him. Right? And that plays on his mind the whole time. And so there's this inner dialogue, this theme that is beautiful. It was really good. And it's made me go and download webtoons again so I can stop reading the webtoons, because it's going to take so long for a season 2 to come out, and definitely space. And I want more, but I don't want to wait.
Nice. Rock on. And that just came out just this weekend, right?
That was Thursday. It dropped on Netflix. Yeah. So
very cool.
Brand new. And then just quickly.
Yeah.
Alchemy of Souls season 2 or part 2 dropped today. So Saturday when we're recording this, it'll be Sunday when you're watching it. So you'll have 2 episodes if you're watching this, because they drop 1 episode a week. There's 10 episodes in part 2. And if you were on board with the first 20, then you're going to be on board with this. The first episode is an hour and 25 minutes long. And there's some time that's passed since a wedding that went awry. One of our characters was left somewhere not nice. We're not sure if she's alive or dead. The whole premise of the story is continued of people basically possessing people's bodies, and then these mages having to deal with them because that's not allowed. And now we have a sadness that is brewed in the beginning of the first story. A new mysterious woman is around, and we're trying to help her not be married off to someone else. And our hero is our depressed hero with the sword that is dark for him. The reason why the sword is dark, in context, is that if he uses the sword of the heavens, which the sword has the power of, to vanquish the people who have the spirits in them at night when he's gone home, wraiths from the vanquished people come and torment him at night. So he's sitting there with all these spirits hovering around him while he's like drinking heavily to try and just ignore them. And so there's consequences. It's beautifully shot. It's wonderful to look at. Everybody that is a protagonist is super stunning, which is annoying. And they all walk in slow-mo. You know, when they turn to look at you, like, yeah, is this my good side? Yeah. It's all like, come on, man. I know you're beautiful already. The choreography, as you'd expect with the costume design, chef's kiss. Very good.
Nice. Okay, this is live action, right? This is an anime.
Yes, not anime. Yeah.
I don't think I've seen any of this. Maybe I started episode 1.
You probably looked at episode 1 and went, "Oh, all the episodes are an hour and 25 minutes long. Great."
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at this, because there's one. I don't even know what series I'm thinking of. So it may be this one, it may not be. But like I watched 15 minutes or something and liked it, but just fell
I don't
off.
have time.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is part 2.
Part 2 just came out.
Episodes 1 and 2. So is that they drop like Saturday and Sunday? Is that what they're doing?
Saturday and Sunday until like the end, which is there's only 10 for this season. The first part was 20 episodes, so 30 in total.
Wow. That's a hefty series.
It's a big story. Big story.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Anything else?
No, I mean, there was good stuff, but yeah, I feel like I've been talking for years.
Okay. Well, hey, we thank you so much for joining us. We would love to hear what are some of the best things that you watched. Let us know in the comments below. You can like, share, subscribe, please. Ruben with the Ruby Tuesday, me, Chris with Movies and Munchies. Tweet at us as long as Twitter's around. Best we watched. Butterfly. Ruben's doing little hand things there.
That was the tweeter. Like
it's the tweeter.
Tweeter,
Yes, yes.
The butterfly.
If you want to hear the full audio edition, we do a podcast version also. We've linked them in the descriptions below. But if you happen to check out there, please rate and review us wherever you happen to download an episode and just give us a listen. Today, we're going to be talking about some other movies in addition to the things that we just talked about, but then also entertainment news and some of the things that are coming up this week. There's at least one tiny movie coming out that's going to dominate them all. But,
no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's something about right. Yeah, there we go. Okay,
DuckTales. Wait, what is that?
Woohoo! Oh my gosh, it's gone off the rails.
Yes,
we also have a Patreon opportunity that we would love for you to check out, where we do. Obviously, there are different tiers on there, different opportunities for just a few dollars a month that you can help support this. Ruben, what is you have an announcement?
I do. Yeah, I totally forgot. Okay, so guys, our special for New Year's this week, which I've totally we're meant to be kind of telling you ahead of schedule so you can plan it. We're doing a D&D one-shot adventure with a number of us. And Chris and his family and a few of my family are going to be involved. It may turn out terribly, which will be hilarious to watch anyway.
Should be entertaining.
But it should be entertaining. So if you like D&D and you want to see an adventure that I've created and written, it's a fresh one, so you won't have watched it anywhere because it's a new story. Join us for our New Year's celebration, or whenever you want to watch it. Stick it on your list of, I should check that out.
A bunch of noobs playing D&D.
Yeah,
I've never played. I don't even know. I may ruin the game, and I hope I don't. But
nah, you can't ruin it. It's fine. I'll just kill you off if you're terrible.
Oh well, there you go. Well, I may kill myself off. Who knows?
That's
I
true.
don't know.
That may well happen. Yeah.
I'm just gonna go get a beverage now, so I could just watch everything else.
Exactly.
Oh goodness. All right. Well, yeah, but you could also head over to Patreon. We would love to have you take a look there. As Ruben had mentioned, we do not only just regular things for certain tiers, but then another tier you are able to actually request specific movies that we watch and review. So we're going to be doing that today as well, or for you. It'll be on there. It doesn't matter today or tomorrow or 3 weeks from now or last Monday.
It'll be on there. Yeah.
It'll be on there. Exactly. So with that, hey, we thank you so much, and we will see you next week. All right. Take care.
Toodles.